All settings for Txsmart are done in the administrative menu. To access it, you need an administrative card. We attach it to the back side of the device, and then we are in the administrative menu. So in total we have 9 sections, and using left and right buttons, M1 and M3, we can shift between sections. And to open the necessary section, we use middle M2 button. So the first section in our administrative menu is called Free Mode Counters. And here you can check the counters and see the number of release targets in free mode for all 7 counters and reset them. Basically the same you can do using counter erase card, counter reset card, because here you can at once see all counters and erase them all at once. Okay, our second section is called Pay Mode Counters, which is also counter. And here we can see the number of targets thrown if as payment you use targets, or cash equivalent if you use cash mode for prepaid cards. So here we have 34 and we as well can reset it. So basically it's used for checking balance sheets and can be reset to 0 by administrator, for example, every week or every day. And basically these 2 sections do not require any settings and use just for checking counters. Next section is called Layouts, and here you have to set number of layouts, name, channel, and traps used, and also cooking time. So first we set up number of layouts where this device is going to be used. For example, let's say it's going to be used on 3 layouts, so we change it to 3. So for that we can use this change M2 button, or we can clear and, for example, use this 3 button. So in total we are going to have 3 layouts. We press OK, and now we have to choose which layout we are going to set. First we will set up layout number 1. First we need to name it. So we can call it, for example, layout 1, layout A, or range A. Let's call it range A, for example. So we can erase the existing name, and now we use key buttons to enter the name. So we use range. For example, if we need gap, then we can use buttons L, M, N, O. Let's use, for example, L. We just press 3 times when then we have gap, and we press A. Now we have the name, which will be shown range A. Okay. Next step, we need to set up the channel. Basically, this is the channel used for this layout and for all wireless receivers connected to the traps. So the layout channel set should have the same channel like all the receivers on the layout. Here we are using layout 1, and it means we have to have this channel 1 for all receivers. So we can use change button, for example, to increase, or also use the keypad. In this case, we usually recommend to use, for example, channel 1 for layout 1, channel 2 for layout 2, and so on. So okay, we set the channel number 1, okay. And next step is to set up traps used on this layout. Activating or disabling traps, in our case on layout 1. On one layout, we can control up to 15 traps. And here we have traps from A to H activated. In case you want to add or remove traps from the list, just press the button with the necessary letter. For example, if we press I on the screen, we can see that the letter turns, dash turned into letter, so it means we activated it. And if we want to disable it, we press I again, and then it's hidden. So to activate the track back, we just press the button again. Instead of dash, we see letter I again, which means trap is enabled. We can also disable a broken trap, so a client can avoid losing credit by pressing on the button with the trap, which does not release. In case some traps have to be blocked due to some technical reasons, so you can do it during day as well. Okay, so the next section is cooking time. This time is required to fully recharge the trap. So during this period, device doesn't send any signal, even if push button is pressed, to avoid customer's credit loss. Cooking time is set up individually for each layout in accordance to the traps. So incremental step is 0.1 second, so minimum is 0.5, and maximum is 3 seconds. So increase the time, we use change button. For example, if you want to scroll faster, you can just keep it pressed. So let's set up 2.5 seconds. Okay. So now we set up layout number 1, but as we set up 3 layouts, now we go to layout number 2 and do the same settings to all other layouts. Next section is called transmitter. Here you can set up power off and backlight timer, buzzer, activate delay and microphone modes, activate game flash disciplines, and set up the language. So first we set up power off timer, which is an automatic shutdown timer if no key is pressed during the set time. So minimum is 40 seconds and maximum is 600 seconds. And incremental step is 10 seconds. For fast scrolling, keep the change button pressed. And by the way, if buzzer is activated before shutting down, the device makes 4 short double beeps and 1 long beep before shutting down. Okay, so the next section is backlight timer. It switches off brightness of the backlight if no key button was pushed during to the setup time. Minimum is 2 seconds, maximum is 12 seconds, incremental step 2 seconds. And to increase the value, we use change button, and for faster scrolling, we can also keep it just pressed. So next section is buzzer. It activates or it disables the sound effect when pressing the key button, as well as sound signals before releasing targets in delay mode and before shutting down automatically. So as you see, we activated beeper, and now every time when we press any button, so we can hear beep, and you will see, you will hear also the beep before release of the targets with the delay during the timer. Okay, next section is delay mode. It activates and disables delay mode by off and on options. And when a shooter has the option to shoot with delay mode, which means to choose a target which will be released after a preset period of time. In total, there are 3 shooting modes: direct, when targets release immediately by pressing the button; delay mode, when targets are released after a delay; and microphone mode, when a shooter can release via attached collar microphone. So the next mode exactly activates or disables the microphone mode. Of course, it can be used only when the collar microphone is connected to the device. Otherwise, it cannot be chosen. And the next section is called repeat last target, and it is valid for microphone modes only. By using on and off options, we can activate or disable repeating last target function. In case it is activated, the preset of the last target remain until the shooter chooses another target. The next section is called Game Flash, and this section activates or disables Game Flash discipline for the shooter, which is a hunting simulation discipline. So we can make it visible or hide it from the shooter. And the last subsection in transmitter section is the language section, and in our case it's written English, where we can shift between 5 interface languages, and those are English, German, Russian, French, and Czech languages. Interface language can be also changed by using language cards without using without going into the administrative menu. For example, we can take, for example, language card for the Czech, and just by attaching it, we change the language. And just go by English. So it can be used by administrator just to quickly change it before giving to customer, or they can be also placed on the layout so shooter can change the language by himself. Next section is present layout card after power on. It sets up the option when the device requires layout card after powering on to unblock it and to be able to use it. So if it is set to yes, so compulsory after power on, change to yes, okay. When we switch it off and when we switch it on again, we see the following message: to activate, please present layout card. So it will be shown on the display, and to be able to unblock it and to start using it, so we have to attach it to the layout tag on the layout. So layout range A, remove your card. So we remove, now it is unblocked. So in case this option is not activated and there are more than one layout, so we set it to change now, okay. And when we remove it, so now we have an opportunity to scroll between layouts. So we can see how we named it. So range A. So as you see, we can manually shift in between, choose OK. And so in this case, we do not need this layout tag. So it's not compulsory. So it is recommended to use this option. It means to use to make it compulsory to present layout card in case it is used on more than one layout and it is used in pay mode. So shooters do not release targets on the wrong layout accidentally. So it can prevent wrong release to save credit and can avoid hurting technician who might be working on other layout. In the next section, payment, you can set up payment options as payment type and prices. So we can choose which payment type is going to be used, cash or targets. In case you choose cash value, in pay mode, the value is stored on the shooter's prepaid card and amount deduced per each target will be in cash value. In case you set up target, Number of targets will be loaded into shooter's prepaid card as well as reduced per release. We recommend to use targets if price per released target is the same for all disciplines. In case shooting ground uses cash as payment, press OK. We will also have to set up prices per target for each customer group. In total, there are 26 customer groups from A to Z. And for example, group A can be set for club members and have price, for example, 50 cents. If we want to change, we can always use the keypad. So with numbers from 1 to 0, where 10 is used as 0, for example, we press 0, 4, 0. So for group A, one release will cost, for example, 40 cents. We press OK. And for example, group B will be set up as non-club members. The price will be higher per release. So you set any price you needed and so on. And take care, do not set the price as 0. Otherwise, shooters of this customer group can shoot for free. For example, if group D and you have some customers assigned to this and we keep it 0, so they can shoot for free. So be aware that price sets for each group by default is this amount, for example. So we have here all 9s. So it's 999,000 and 999.99. Okay, so when you set up all prices, we press OK. Basically, we have to set for all customer groups, which are you going to use. As I said, there are 26 in total. That's okay. That's it. Next section is called card. Here you can set up payment chip card features. So first one is activate year code. Year code is an optional feature used to force card holders, so shooters with prepaid cards, turn to the shooting grounds front desk to have the code updated. Cards with old year code cannot be used until updated. For example, shooting grounds needs all shooters to come to the counter to get some information, sign some documents and so on. So it will force them to come to the front desk. So when we press on, so it activates this feature, off disables it. And to update the year code, use card manager loading program. So okay, next here block group. So here we can block certain customer groups if necessary. For example, if the customer group, for example A, if we make it to on, means customers who has that group cannot use his card anymore with this device. And so the same for all other 26 groups. Wireless cloning is a useful feature in case you have to set up more than one device. So after setting up one Txsmart, you can set up the rest just by cloning it. And to do so, first we have to take the second remote control, the other one, which is not set up yet. So we attach the administrative card. So we go to this section, wireless cloning, and we press change and we choose receive configuration. So this one has to receive all settings to be cloned from the setup remote control. So we press start and it starts receiving. So it's waiting for the receiving. And we can remove the administrative card. So you can do the same with the second, third and fourth if you have many of them. So you can clone all of them at once. So we put it away. Now we take the main set up Txsmart, which we set up earlier. We attach, and we always keep the administrative card attached. We go to wireless cloning. We press transmit configuration. So we transmit, we send all settings, and we press start. And here you can see the progress bar. So here all settings are cloned. So we can press abort. Here we can also press abort or just remove the administrative card. So now this remote control is set up and has absolutely all the same settings as the main Txsmart. And the very last section in administrative menu is UID, which is unique ID number of this device.